Hello and welcome to Talk Ag to Me, a podcast dedicated to improving ag literacy around the globe. I'm your host, Brennan Black, and today I'm joined by three special guests. Today I have the District 9 Dairy Princesses with me today. Why don't you guys go ahead? I don't care who starts. Start introducing yourselves, please.
Okay. My name's Lindsay Medonsa. I'm the District 9 First Alternate Dairy Princess.
I'm Kaylee Faria, and I am the District 9 Dairy Princess.
I am Jenna Kutsier, and I am District 9 Second Alternate Dairy Princess.
All right, cool. So real quick, why don't you guys explain what a dairy princess is, or like what does it mean to be a dairy princess?
A dairy princess is basically involved with the California Milk Advisory Board, and they go around through their different districts. There's, 9 or...
Yeah.
9 active ones, I believe.
There's 9 active districts in California, and they just go within their district, the dairy princess and the alternates, and they spread awareness about what real California milk is, and look for the seal. That's like our motto.
Yeah.
And go to classrooms and teach kids about the industry itself, and
Yeah, so we're basically advocates for the dairy industry, dairy products, and most importantly, the real California milk seal.
Cool. Sounds good. How are the districts divided? Do you know?
It's by counties.
By county? Okay.
Yeah.
I always thought that, but I couldn't remember if there's like a special boundary if it's just counties. Okay.
So we're kind of the Tulare County Dairy Princesses, but I'm pretty sure there's another like small county or two like within ours.
Okay.
But
Inyo or something like that. I swear I saw it. On the
So we're made up of like multiple counties, and then some are just like one or two.
Ours is pretty big.
Okay.
District 9 is pretty big.
Well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, we're one of the biggest dairy counties in California.
Yes.
So that makes sense. All right. Why don't you guys talk us through the process of becoming a dairy princess?
Okay.
Well, first you must apply.
Yeah. So there's an application on the California Milk Advisory Board website, and you apply for that. It's pretty lengthy. Kind of reminds me of college apps, to be honest.
Oh yeah, you have to like write an essay. I think like
a couple essays.
Yeah, not just one essay.
And then after you turn in your application, they let you know like if you're accepted onto the next rounds. And then they give you a topic to do kind of a mock presentation in front of a panel of judges, and then that's also included with an interview process. And then there's the big Salute to Dairy Industry dinner, where we have to answer some onstage questions, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
they just want to test your knowledge and how well you work under pressure, like in front of crowds.
The presentation, like we find out what our topic is like 3 days prior to the interview.
So
Okay.
Yeah, and they want to, the onstage questions are for, like, your public speaking skills, and they just really want to know how personable you are and how you interact with people in general.
And on the spot.
Yeah, and they don't want you to be kind of like, like a grumpy goose. Like, they want someone, like, happy and positive to represent the dairy industry.
Right. No, I went to the coronation a couple years ago for Abby and Haley. I got to see them coronated, and that was pretty cool event. I actually got to meet a guy from Great Britain, and he was involved in the dairy industry over there. And one of his friends invited him to go see the Dairy Princess coronation. He was like, "You guys have dairy princesses? What?" And he was it was hilarious. He had like a super thick accent. He was great. But yeah, no, that's a really cool, process that like it's I'm glad that you guys like have like an actual like process in doing it. It's not just like a popularity contest like some of the other.
The judges are pulled like out of Tulare County too. They're not from here.
Right. Yeah.
And they're just related to whatever the California Milk Advisory Board. They're the ones who are appointed by them.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. That's pretty cool then, because like a lot of people like whenever I try to explain what the dairy princess is, because I don't know a whole lot about it, so I try to explain to them what it is. Like a lot of them think it's like a beauty contest, like a beauty pageant kind of thing. I'm like,
They make it very clear that it's not.
Right, because like they see the sash and they think so. I'm like, no, they're like they're like advocating for an industry. They're not just fakes. And so like I'm glad that there's a little bit more of a process to getting to that level than just show up and boom, you get the sash.
Well, like a lot of people too, like they don't realize that it's CMAB that puts it on, because I know some people have asked me like, oh, is that through FFA or something, or like and then it helps because then that's why CMAB has it, so they can get the word out about CMAB and the real California milk seal.
Right, yeah, and that's another thing. A lot of people think that it's like you have to be an FFA to be a dairy princess, and you have to be like through some kind. You have to like you have to go through high school to get to it. It's not connected to the FFA or 4-H or anything like that. It's its own deal.
Yeah, but FFA and 4-H definitely supplement it with our knowledge.
For sure.
Right, and I could imagine it would pretty sure be pretty hard to get into it if you weren't in one of those two.
Yeah, and one of the criteria of having to become a dairy princess, at least for our district, like you either have to, raise dairy, participate in a dairy judging contest or dairy products judging, or you have to come from a dairy.
Okay.
So there are criteria, and not just anyone can be one. You have to be related or affiliated with the dairy industry somehow.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. It'd be kind of weird if they had somebody who's ever
poultry
had
farmer.
a cow. Yeah.
Or just just someone from New York that moves to California. I want to be a dairy princess because I want to live in town, but I'm from the city.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Like somebody who they walk up there, you're like, I really like the brown cows. They give me the chocolate milk, so I think that's a good reason to make me a dairy princess.
Yeah.
It's like that'd be not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so why don't you guys tell us a little bit about what you do in terms of, because you mentioned how you go to the classrooms and you talk to the kids. Why don't you talk a little bit about what you do in the classroom?
Okay. So I guess I'll start. So in the classroom, you typically put together a presentation, and I think both of us have slide presentation. I think all of us do. And you just get up in front of the students. We call it an elevator speech. Whenever you get in there, it's you introduce yourself, talk about a little bit about what a dairy princess is and why you're there, and just get them started. And automatically, especially little kids, get so excited, and they're just ready to look at what you're about to tell them. So you just talk about what the dairy industry is, and I know
our foundation of it.
Yeah, our topic was farm to table, so a lot of us talk about what that process is, and they talk about nutrition and the cows, and you just try to get the kids as much knowledge as you can in that limited amount of time, and they like to ask a lot of questions.
Yes, or they love to tell you, I like milk and cookies, and then you just see 30 more hands go up, and all of them just want to tell you how much they love milk.
Yes, this kid, because I just did a presentation at Early Mart. This kid raised his hand, and I called on him, expecting a question, and he goes, I love cows. And I was just how do you, go, continue your presentation after that? You don't know what to really just say.
Yeah.
It's me too.
Yeah. It's kind of a challenge, especially with, younger kids, because obviously, we're not teachers. We don't interact with, a classroom full of kindergartners every day.
You don't know these kids.
Right. Yeah, and you don't know, just, what levels they're at of understanding, and it's a challenge, because I know one thing I realized after my first presentation, because I presented to kindergarten through third graders, and the third graders were kind of catching on, but my PowerPoint presentation has a lot of words on it, and some kindergartners can't really read big words like homogenization and stuff like that.
I don't know many third graders that can read that.
So, you gotta find ways to interact the kids with your presentation.
Yeah.
Right.
So they don't
ask a lot of questions. Yeah. Tell them to repeat things after you.
Yeah. Break things down, make it a little more understandable for them.
And at Dairy Princess Training Week, we kind of went through presentations and got ideas and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And went through training actually. So.
And they also gave us this Dairy Princess handbook, which is basically the Bible for us.
Yes. And always reference that before you go anywhere.
And after my first presentation and realizing, wow, different age groups are a lot different, I made a couple different presentations, because I also did one, or am going to do it at my high school, so I figured, they know that milk comes from cows. Freshmen in high school obviously know that.
So.
Yeah. So then that presentation is more based on, how our dairies, cater towards being sustainable and nutrition facts and animal care and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's another question I have. Are you guys more involved in the dairy products industry, or the dairy actual farming industry? Which side are you more? I guess I don't know. Which side do you pertain to the most whenever you do your presentation?
Personally?
Well, just whenever you're explaining stuff to the kids, do you talk more about the cows or the milk in the bottle?
It's
probably both.
It's pretty much.
You try to cover as much as you can.
But you don't want to go too in depth, because might kind of confuse them and
gotcha.
say,
Okay.
Yeah. My presentation for younger kids, it's basically this is a calf, and then it becomes, a heifer, and then a cow, and then there's a whole factory process of it, and then afterwards I talk about all the different dairy products, because they love some chocolate milk and ice cream.
Yes.
And then sometimes I just say, hey, who had milk in their cereal, or who likes milk and cookies, to just kind of get them to interact a little bit and get excited. And then I mentioned the Real California Milk Seal, because that's a really, really big part of what we do.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So, I know you guys are involved. You guys are involved in the farm show too, right? Because I always see the Dairy Princesses.
Yeah, we're gonna be there.
We'll be
Do
there.
you have like a do you do a presentation there too? Or you kind of make a presence there? What is your role there?
It's a good question.
Yeah. Well, we haven't done it yet, so
Okay.
farm shows haven't happened yet, but
I'm sure we just work with like the. Does California Milk Advisory Board have a booth there?
I
I would
think
assume.
so.
So we'd probably be
It'd
like
probably be similar to what we did at State Fair,
Gotcha.
which was in Sacramento,
Yeah.
where we just kind of stood at the booth, talked to people, took pictures, and
Okay.
a lot like that.
if anyone has questions and stuff.
Okay. So do you guys make more like, because the way I'm kind of understanding, you guys go to like just a lot of areas where there's going to be a lot of people to talk to, like a lot of like younger people to talk to and educate and that kind of thing. So you guys making any presences on more like farm operations? Like do you like go to any actual dairies and like have any like conversations with actual farmers? Do you actually go over, which I know they don't need, you know, you don't need to teach them anything, 'cause they know.
Yeah.
But like do you actually like go over and just like, you know, just for the you know, just to show that the Dairy Princesses are a little bit more involved in like the industry than just talking about it? Do you guys actually go and talk to the farmers, or do you kind of just talk about what they're doing and explain it to the kids?
I guess one farmer would be my dad. Like I talked to him about
like our
questions.
parents.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to like do something like on our Instagram page, just like highlighting
visit a
different
dairy,
dairy farmers in our district.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I thought about doing that, like something that's more interactive.
But everything that we do has to be approved.
Gotcha.
And there's a big long process for everything. And as far as like interacting with other dairy farmers, a couple of industries like CDI and then like Rosa Brothers have asked us like for at a point during our reign to like come over and just like be part of a tour.
Okay.
So we can kind of like show up presence within different parts of the dairy industry.
Yeah, and I think that'd be good just to, you know, because it's good to like, because a lot of the problem with you know, just people who are advocating for a certain thing is like they'll advocate for it, but people never see them actually doing the thing they're advocating for. It's like not saying that you guys aren't involved in the dairy industry, because I know all of you are, but it just like, you know, it's one thing to talk about it, and it's another thing to actually be involved in it and show that you're being involved in it.
And
so it's just like
that kind of like I know at State Fair, whenever you're like walking around all these like dairy kids who are like really like good like at showing, and they're really involved obviously, and you're just walking around in your crown and sash, they kind of do look at you a little weird, and you're like, I promise I'm not like this all the time. I know what it's like to get dirty, and
which like I said, a lot of people around here would know that you guys are obviously more involved in the dairy industry than you give off to be. Just, you know, you're walking around with your sash and your crown, but like somebody who's not involved in the dairy industry, who doesn't know you personally, might look at you and say, well, they're talking about milk, but do they actually, have they ever actually milked a cow? Like they're, because there's always people there trying to kind of assume that stuff, and just, that's how people are. But so I was just kind of curious if you guys have a little more involvement in that.
And that's where, like, I mean, the crown and the sash, like, it helps in the sense that it makes people ask questions and actually come up to us.
That's
and then
true.
That's when we use the knowledge that we have and like explain to them that we do both sides.
Yeah, that's good.
Like Lindsay and I, our first outing to State Fair, like 5 minutes after we got off the train, this guy came up to us and asked us a million questions. We're like, wow, this is what the world of being a dairy princess is like.
It was like overwhelming. It was like our first appearance. Like we had just gone through training, and we were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. We hadn't
what do we do?
We hadn't even gotten to the fair yet. Like we just got off.
We were at the train station.
Yeah, just
haven't even left the station yet.
Yeah.
He just comes up to us. And he's like, so you guys are princesses, and just like asking. It was like insane.
Well, it's in Sacramento, right?
Yeah.
They don't see that every day, so I mean, it kind of makes sense.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, man, I'm running a little out of questions here. So, what do you think is probably the most beneficial part? Like, why do you think that we need dairy princesses? What do you think is the benefit in having them around?
I think part of it's the same reason why you have your podcast, is because ag literacy is a huge problem. It's a huge problem here in the Central Valley, but if you really think about it, like in Northern California and Southern California, they don't have ag to look at 24/7. They don't, drive across town and they see like a dairy on one side, an orchard of trees on the other side. Right. And I don't think people realize how much agriculture and the dairy industry really impact their lives each and every day.
Well, even in my own classroom, like in our county and stuff like that, there's kids who like can see the agriculture around us and yet don't know anything about it, and that's why we're here for. I mean,
they still are like believing things
that they see on the internet or whatever.
So I think the Dairy Princess is just like a positive influence, like on the dairy industry for kids to look at and get their knowledge from something that is very trustworthy and just something that's fun for them.
Also, it's like it helps the farmers. Like bottom line, it helps the farmers where the product came from, where it's I guess that makes sense. If that makes, I don't know. But like I mean, because we're trying to sell a product and it's a nutritional, healthy product and change the face of what consumers may see about dairy industry.
Right. No, I agree with you. I think it's really important to have somebody out there talking about. Well, it's like you said with the podcast, same thing. I mean. Like when I was my first year doing STEM, I got asked that question. Why do you think it's important to give speeches about ag? Why do you think it's important to talk to people about ag? Like why, because there's a bunch of like old farmers that don't want to give out their secrets. Like no, I'm not telling you how to raise my cows because then you're gonna steal my ideas and steal my money. And so like why is it important to tell people what they're doing? And because they need to be trusted, and that's kind of the problem right now is not a lot of farmers are trusted because either the farmers aren't doing enough to tell them what they're doing or the consumers aren't doing enough to actually look into what they're doing. And
well, it's just that a lot of the consumers believe that farmers need to be like the stereotypical red barn with everything, right? I mean, just like technology has innovated, so why can't agriculture and dairy industry, right?
No.
And that's what a lot of people like.
I think there's a lot of negativity towards agriculture, especially animal agriculture, because people just they look at animals and they're like, oh my gosh, they're just like us, and it's hard to change people's minds.
Right.
Yeah, and I think pop culture plays a huge role in that, and there's a lot of trends like veganism and stuff like that, and I don't disagree with anyone's lifestyle choices. Everyone's allowed to make any choice that they want, but that doesn't mean that they should force their ideas onto other people.
Right.
It's just like you're here to educate, not shove like your side on the throat for
Yeah.
Right.
No,
like exactly. Everyone.
We're not here to force people to drink milk, but we definitely want them to understand like what milk is and why it's good for you.
It's really important to give people an opportunity to ask questions and have them answered, and to just learn both sides of every story, and then after they've learned everything, to make decisions for themselves.
Yeah, no, it's good to make them think about things. Like even though Mr. Coolwine, when I had him on the show, which rest in peace, Mr. Coolwine, but when I had him on the show, a big part of our conversation was whatever you do in the agriculture industry, if you're going to have a conversation with somebody, it cannot be an argument, because if it's an argument, you both just lost. It's about making them think about their side better and not trying to force your side onto them, because they're never going to trust your side if you're just trying to force it.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a really good thing to keep in mind, which I commend all you guys for coming out there and giving your spiel, even though a lot of people are against it. Actually, kind of funny story. A good family friend of mine, he has a dairy out in Goshen. His name's Steve Pereira, and he'd probably kill me to know I just said his name on my podcast, because he does not want to be on here. But anyways, he yesterday he had a film crew come out to his dairy, and apparently it was like his vet's niece was like coming out, and she's at UC Berkeley. And so, his vet's niece, so his vet asked him if she could come out, because she's like a film major, and her final is she has to do her own film on something. And so her dad or her uncle, his vet was asking, he's like, hey, can my niece come out here and film your dairy? And he's just like he's terrified. He doesn't want her to come out there and film his dairy, but he let her do it. And
which
so
is sad.
And she came out, and like all of her buddies came out, and they're all like wearing like their skinny jeans, and like they're like their nice clothes, and like they're wearing cowboy hats, but they're like the cowboy hats you buy in like a gas station on the way over, because they're like you can't wear a cowboy hat with skinny jeans. It just doesn't work. Yeah. So they're like they're all from like San Francisco and Berkeley and in Sacramento. So like they weren't obviously from here. And Steve had to take a giant risk in letting them, take footage of his dairy. He had to go tell all of his workers, hey, you're not allowed to, hit the cows. You're not allowed to slap them on the butt. I don't even care. You can't lay a hand on them unless it's just to push them along. Yeah. I don't want anything looking bad. I want all those corrals as clean as they've ever been. I want everything sanitized. And he has a very clean dairy as it is, but he couldn't take any chances because
they'll take
the consumers don't realize why they're doing those things.
Right. No, exactly. And it's just,
they have a reason for everything.
Right. So he came over yesterday because we were going to the Ethan Crook deal,
the dinner.
Yeah, the dinner from last night. He went with us, and he was telling us he was just like terrified all day, just like sitting in his house watching out his window. He's like, what are they doing now? Are they gonna post that?
Following them?
Yeah, am I gonna be on the 5 o'clock news? And he actually requested that they send him a copy of the film before she turns it in because he wants to make sure she's not like slandering him or anything. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like it's really sad that that's the point we're at now. Like, you know, we can't take pictures or videos of anything. Can't trust anyone. Right. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's because like within social media, people just assume things that are absolutely bizarre. Right. I remember seeing a post on Twitter, and it's just like, you know, a cow sticking its head through a stanchion, and like, you know, there's like a caption on it saying like, oh, dairy farmers are like, you know, putting cows in these like cow crusher machines.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it was
the hoof trimmer.
Oh,
it was a hoof trimmer
machine.
It shakes them to death.
It's
ridiculous.
And it's absolutely, it's bizarre. Like, obviously, you don't know anything about the dairy industry, and I feel like it's so important to just advocate for it and help educate the public so they can know it's the truth, because obviously we love these animals just as much as the next guy.
It's our livelihood.
The last thing we would do is to hurt anything.
Right, it makes no sense. I mean, just speaking from a financial level, I mean, like, well, obviously on the ethical level, we don't want to hurt animals. It gets us no benefit. But speaking on the financial level, our money goes down as the stress levels of those cows go up. We cannot afford to have them stressed out. We have to have them, you know, as comfy and as content as they can be. I started working on a dairy out in Corcoran, and like my boss, he's another British guy. I know a lot of British dairymen.
He's British dairyman.
He was telling me, like, he was giving me a ride around the dairy, kind of showing me around, and he's been having a hard time getting his workers to be more gentle with the cows, and because, you know, they're all like, they want the cows to move and they want to go because they want to go home. And he's telling him, he's like, your cows are not going to work for you if you're not, you know, kind to them. You have to be gentle. You have to be, you know, you have to show them some love and support. Because I work in the calf ranch area of it, and so he was telling the workers I feed with, he's going to make them have a competition. Whoever can have the healthiest calves at the end of a month period gets like a bonus, because then it gives them an incentive to actually, you know, take care of the calves. I mean, obviously they're like vaccinating them when they need to be vaccinated, that kind of stuff, but they're not like showing them, you know, love and support and, you know, what they need to.
Just being maybe too aggressive than they need to be.
Right, just a little bit too, and it's nothing like, you know, they're not killing calves or anything. It's nothing bad. It's just, you know, sometimes they're a little bit too rough with them. They need to be a little bit more, you know, like, or they're walking by and like a cow or like a calf like sticks his head out and they like smack his nose to go back in or something like that. Or,
or maybe like they get mad if it kicks him or tries to kick him. You know?
Right, yeah.
Which I mean is understandable because I don't want to get kicked by a cow. But I mean,
But yeah, no, it's just one of those things like, there's a certain level of truth to, you know, we need to be kinder to our animals, but it just doesn't make sense to say that all dairy farmers are evil and they all want their animals to
there's bad people in every industry.
Right,
and
exactly.
It just sucks because it's like that one bad person makes the whole industry look bad. And it's like, that's not true.
Right. No, exactly. So yeah, no, I think you guys are doing a good job of advocating for the dairy industry, especially in this area, because we have one of the largest. California is top right now, right, in dairy?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tulare County is the top producing county too.
We're the top county
in
the world.
The most like recent census, which was I think 2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know Wisconsin is winning in cheese, but that's all I got.
Yeah. Wisconsin's just a bunch of cheeseheads. We don't care about that.
Yeah. Boy. Sorry to any Wisconsin listeners.
I don't have any Wisconsin listeners. If I do, then we can hash it out in the comments. Don't worry about it. But but I think it's a good thing.
Get that one person.
Commenting down below, I'm furious that you insulted my people. Just.
We're not cheeseheads.
No, Wisconsin people are too close to Canada. They're too nice.
Yeah.
Most of the time. But yeah, no.
I meet a lot at National Convention. They're kind of interesting.
Really?
Oh, you met some Wisconsins? Yeah, I don't know if I ever met any Wisconsin people at nationals. I met a lot of like people from like the dairy farmers from New York. I met some of those guys.
Dang.
Those are interesting. Really? I like those guys. They're weird. Like
Ben and Jerry?
They're not weird, but like they're just they're just like they're
unique.
Different than you
They
expect.
are different.
Like
everyone's different at National Convention. You never know who you're gonna meet.
Right. It's an interesting place. Like you meet a lot of weird individuals. Different individuals is probably a better way to put it. But
oh my gosh.
I'm not even talking about South Carolina.
Like how you said.
Don't even talk about South Carolina.
What about them?
Oh man, they're interesting. We'll talk about it after the episode. But
no, in Indiana, this is kind of on topic, I guess. But in Indiana, the group that I was with, we all took a tour of what it's called Fair Oaks Farms. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. But basically 5 dairymen came together and they just made this farm. And one of them's actually from California. I forgot his name. But it's just this huge, it's basically, the best way to describe it is a Disneyland, but for dairy farming. Like, it's huge.
That's awesome.
They have different farm sites, and I think there's like 11 of them.
Jeez.
And they have these bus tours that are just going like all the time, and the buses are like cow print, and it's so cute. So cool. They have like what's called a cafe, and it's another way that they're just trying to spread awareness about the industry. So
That's
it's
awesome.
like there are people that are coming in, they're like schools that are coming in, and they're just learning a lot about the dairy industry. And it's like
in Indiana?
Yeah, and it's a lot of truth. It takes you through the freestall barns. It talks about what a freestall barn is, and it goes over the milking. They have a huge milking parlor, carousel barn, and it's just like, it's so different because it's like a lot bigger than like your farms here. Yeah. But it's really cool that to have seen that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I wish I could have got. I don't know why I didn't get to go to that when I went to Indiana. What the heck? I went to the Indy 500.
Because I went with Sousa.
Indy 500 is pretty cool.
The Indy 500, I did like kissing the bricks. That was pretty cool.
But, yeah, we didn't get to do that. We were gonna go on Friday night.
Oh yeah. We couldn't. Yeah, but yeah, no, that's cool. So yeah, no, I think that about wraps it up. I don't think I have any more questions for you guys. Okay. So yeah, I'd just like to thank all of you Dairy Princesses for joining me on this. What's it say, Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday afternoon. I'm so
the 4th,
off.
I think.
I believe it is.
Yes.
They're not gonna hear it till Wednesday, but anyways, yeah, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this episode, and appreciate you coming out and talking to us a little bit about what you guys represent and what you do, and I think what you're doing is awesome, and I appreciate it coming from someone who is advocating agriculture on a bi-weekly basis now. It was weekly, but issues. No, I appreciate what you guys are doing, and yeah, so thanks again for coming on.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Any final comments you want to add on, or
drink milk?
Yeah, look for the seal.
Look for the seal.
Real California body seal.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it. I'd like to thank all of you guys so much for tuning in, and actually, we have another interview this week that's not going to be coming out for another 2 weeks, though. But that's a very exciting one. I don't know if you guys know Mr. Tebow at all. Mm-hmm. You know Mr. Tebow?
Yeah, that's my ag teacher's ag teacher.
Okay, that was my parents' ag teacher. So he's one of the teachers over at COS, and I got him to come on an interview. So I'm interviewing him on Thursday. He's not going to be out for another couple weeks, though.
He's made such a huge impact on our community.
Oh, Mr. T was amazing. Anyways, we'll have him on in a couple weeks, more than likely. So yeah, make sure you tune in for that episode, and thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, if you ate today, thank a farmer.